Hi students, in the last class we learned about various new dynasties emerged in the medieval period. Now we are going to learn about the administrative features of that kings. During this period, the kings were adopted a lot of titles like Maharajadiraja, Tribhuvana Chakravarti, etc. Then, what is the meaning of Maharajadiraja, Tribhuvana Chakravarti, etc.? We must have to check. The Maharajadiraja means great king or lord of kings. And the Tribhuvana Chakravarti means the lord of three world. And we must have to learn about the taxes or the sources of money which were collected by these kingdoms. A lot of inscriptions were mentioned about a variety of taxes collected by this period. For example, the inscriptions of Cholas only mentioned about 400 different types of taxes which were collected during this period from the people by these kings. And some of the famous taxes were the Vetti, Kadamai, etc. Then what do you know about Vetti and Kadamai? Vetti is a type of tax not in the form of cash but in the form of forced labor. And Kadamai is a type of land revenue. Likewise, a lot of revenues were also collected from traders also. Above these, resources also were collected or obtained from producers, also in the form of rent and also from plunder. The producers means the producers like peasants. And rent means the money collected from the lord who owned a type of land. And also plunder, it is occurring from fight or wars. So what was the uses of these resources or this money collected from people and also from kings? Oftenly they were used these resources to establish or enlarge their kingdoms, and also they used these resources to construct temples and also forts. They used this resource to conduct fights or wars and to access more and more lands and trade routes. So, what was the uses of these revenues or what was the uses of this money collected from this type? Yes, they used it to enlarge their kingdom, to conduct fights and to access more and more land and also trade route and also to construct temples and forts. Then now we are going to check about the collectors, revenue collectors. Who were the revenue collectors and also who were the army members? The positions. Which position? The positions of revenue collectors and army members often hereditary. In most cases, it was the king's relatives. What means the hereditary? Hereditary means the father, his son, and his son likewise. Okay, and this often got from or choose from the king's relatives. Now we are going to learn about the prashasti. So what is the prashasti? And also we are going to know about land grants. What is the land grants? So before going to the prashasti and land grants, we must have to know from where we are getting this source, because these kingdoms were ruled in the medieval period. Now we are living in the post-modern period. It was happened in the 12th century or 10th century or likewise. But we are living in the 21st century. Then from where we are collecting this information? We are collecting this information from various records like the inscriptions the copper plate inscriptions likewise, and also from a lot of pictures, and also from a various type of other sources like precious things, land grants likewise. So now we are going to learn about prasasti. What is the meaning of prasasti? What was its aim? Prasasti is often a written record. It mainly discusses about the glorification of kings of a particular kingdom. So, what is the glorification? The glorification means the prasasti described only the achievement factors of that king or ruler. So we must have to understand the true facts of the prasastis will be very less because the achievement never a person can rule by the achievement factors only. Anyone will have negative roles also. So while analyzing the prasasti, we can see any of the negative role of these kings, and we have to see only the achievement factors of this king. So it may be written about any of the king of that period. Who write these records? These records were written by learned scholars or learned Brahmin scholars only. And as part of this composition, the kings will offer them land as grants. So, these grants, how did we have to understood they get lands? These grants were recorded in various copper plates of that period. So while analyzing these copper plates, we have to understand the king offer a lot of land as grant to these scholars. And these scholars, what they do? The scholars write a lot of prasastis about the king. And we got the evidence, or we will get the prasastis also. The written language of these prasastis were, most of the prasastis were Sanskrit and Tamil. And now we are going to learn about the warfare for wealth. This means for what the kings are conducting wars. The kings often conducted wars for finding more and more wealth. For example, the Kanuj in the Ganga Valley. During that period, Kanuj was an important place for many centuries for the three kingdoms, that is the Gurjara Pratiharas, Rashtrakutas, and also Palas. They often fought each other for controlling, for establishing their power and control over Kanuj. As part, the historians mentioned this was as the tripartite struggle. During that period, the kings spent their money for building temples, that we know. And they also keep wealth in these temples. Therefore, when one attacked another king or kingdom, they often attacked the temples. Many foreign rulers also followed the same method. One of such foreign ruler is the Sultan Muhammad of Ghazni, Afghanistan. He often targeted the Somanatha temple of Gujarat. But different from others, the Sultan also shown interest to learn about the people of that region. So he instructed a scholar named Al-Baruni to write an account about the people, and he wrote the Kitab al-Hind. Likewise, the Chahmanas, the rulers of Delhi and Ajmer, also conducted a lot of wars to plunder the wealth of other countries. The Chahmanas, also known as the Chauhans. Prithviraj III was the famous ruler of Chauhans. He defeated even the Afghan ruler Mahmud Ghori also. I hope all of you understood this part very well. I will send the works of this part also today. So you please listen and watch the video very well. Thank you for watching this video.